What up, world? I really wanted to cover this topic of discussion here on the herd with Mr. Colin Coward. Pretty much on the topic is going to be Rob Parker joining, discussing with each other, talking about Kawhi Leonard and let alone Kevin Durant and any other NBA news. Same thing with LeBron James, and we'll discuss later on within here. My position stands, and I've stated this: Kawhi Leonard all time is a greater player than Kevin Durant on my list. Even though Kevin Durant has been a star most of his career, longer than Kawhi Leonard, hey, that's cool. He has an MVP. He's got 2 Finals MVPs, 2 championships, and Kawhi Leonard doesn't have any MVPs. He started blossoming around his 4th or 5th season with the Spurs. We really caught his attention in the 2013 Finals and even more in the 2014 Finals. And we knew during that time period, even though he wasn't an all-star player, but a young stud with potential, he could be a future all-star, possibly a star player in this league. But Kawhi Leonard does have 2 Finals MVPs, same thing as Kevin Durant. Two-dimensionally, people stack them up together. If you're a three-dimensional player, if you have actually seen the games and let alone the Finals appearances, listen, Kawhi Leonard all time, I have him as a greater player due to his championships. Whenever it comes to my rankings on all-time, rankings with NBA players, number 1 is how many championships did you lead your team to. Number 2 is how many championships did you win all together, and I'll start to compare if you're the number 1, number 2 option. Then I'll start to go down into, how many finals appearances or playoff appearances you lay your team to, how many MVPs, individual accolades, kind of in that ballpark. But Kevin Durant, he does have the stats. He has a couple scoring. He's led the league different years in scoring. That's Kevin Durant's go-to in his game. His defensive presence started to pick up when he joined in Golden State. But usually when Kevin Durant, whenever he joined Golden State, that was really a detriment to him. This is me not being picky, let alone, mad at him at doing it. He had to do what he had to do. I wasn't a fan of it. I knew this would hurt his legacy. But we really saw when Steph Curry was hurt from that team, Kevin Durant couldn't get it done. They had a losing record. And I even knew this before. It's Steph Curry's franchise, his kingdom. And everything was about Steph Curry and LeBron James. Kevin Durant decided to join the team because he knew if he joined them, they would have to defer to him because he's a star player that they just lost the finals, let alone he would beat LeBron James back and back again. And even though that did happen, we all know that Kevin Durant, that wasn't the reason why he was the winner and all that. And we've seen he started making burner accounts. He was starting getting mad with other, just younger fans. And he doesn't have any happiness. And he never fit with the team. That's why he left to Brooklyn to join with his buddy, Mr. Wokety Woke, Kyrie Irving, and see if they can get something down there because they're chill with each other. Get back on topic. Kawhi Leonard, I have him a greater player all time than Kevin Durant, especially after winning the Toronto Raptors' first championship and beating the Golden State Warriors. People have debates if Kevin Durant was on that team that they would have beat the Raptors. If Kevin Durant was healthy on that team, I think they would have beat the Raptors in 7 games. People really overlooked the defensive presence of the Raptors and their length and size. The Warriors, whenever they would beat the Cavaliers year after year in the finals, Cleveland was a terrible team on defense. Except the 2015 finals. But besides that, Cleveland was terrible and atrocious, just lost out there on defense. And the Raptors were a different-minded team. They reminded me of the 90s Bulls with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Kawhi Leonard was taking the league. And during those finals, the Raptors were amazing offensively, beautiful basketball. I haven't seen something like that in years. It's crazy. But Kawhi Leonard beating the Warriors, even though Kevin Durant wasn't there, mad props and credit, Finals MVP. He really changed the demeanor with Nick Nurse, as well as credited to the Raptors. We would see DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry year after year. Their IQ was atrocious, let alone they didn't have any calming presence, and it was just chaotic. Kawhi was on the team. You can see with interviews and how they played. Kyle Lowry in the group, different demeanor. Kawhi Leonard's calm presence and winning championship DNA really went to that team. We can see it as within that. But I've been talking too much. Let these guys jump in here, and I'll give my take.
I'm going to throw this out. I said if Kawhi Leonard in 2 months, 3 months is hoisting a trophy, then you keep telling me all that matters is championships. He's going to have 3 MVPs, 3 teams, 3 titles. I think you can make the argument he has surpassed Kevin Durant as an all-time player.
No, you can make the argument right now, and I actually do have Kawhi Leonard over Kevin Durant. When it comes to me, again, it's not the individual numbers. Kawhi Leonard is a winning championship DNA type player. Even though he does have load management, he really looks forward to in the playoffs and the finals. And during his peak, when he's been healthy, he took that 2017 Warriors in game one. They were up around 20, 23 points. And Kawhi Leonard was doing his thing, taking down Kevin Durant in that super team. So it is what it is. He got hurt by Zaza, Pachulia. But Kawhi Leonard, ever since his peak, he's been deep in the playoffs, let alone won a championship with the Toronto Raptors. And the Clippers right now are favorites to come out of the Western Conference and to win the championship. With Kevin Durant, whenever he was on the Warriors, of course they were favorites because he had a super team because of Stephen Curry. But with Kevin Durant joining the Nets, they're not going to be favorites to win the championship next season. But who knows what moves they have to make. But Kawhi Leonard is more of an impact player. Kevin Durant has been more of a cherry on top. You got to give him credit because when he was with the Thunder for his first couple of early seasons, he was the second greatest player in the world behind LeBron James. And he took that Thunder team in his fourth season to the finals. Kudos to him when it comes to it. But we really see he does need another scoring option on his team. And that's what James Harden did, especially in that conference finals against the Spurs in Game 5. When James Harden went ballistic, let alone hit a clutch dagger. They let go of James Harden the following season, and we really saw the detriment of the Thunder to where they never reached the finals ever again. It is what it is. But Kawhi Leonard, he's on another level. He is younger, and I expect Kawhi Leonard to rack up a few more finals appearances. Maybe a regular season MVP. It really depends because he does load manage. But as of now, I got Kawhi Leonard. If he wins another championship this season, easily. Right now, Kawhi Leonard, I have him around top 20 all time. If he were to win a third championship, definitely be top 15. I would really debate him around number 12, number 13, because number 9 through 11 I have around Kobe. I got Wilt, and I got Hakeem. I think he'll be right there at number 12, passing over Isaiah Thomas and Oscar Robertson coming to it.
Nick Wright said I'm nuts. Am I?
No, you're not. Because along with Kevin Durant's a great player. But if you're Kawhi Leonard, and Colin, think about this. If you were able to go and win back-to-back championships on two franchises that had never won jack, Toronto and then the Clippers, the also-ran Clippers, you were able to win back-to-back championships and make that kind of a difference. And then win in three different places where you were the big guy, you were one of the big guys in this.
I agree, but with the San Antonio Spurs in 2014, let's be real, guys. Even though he won Finals MVP, you have to credit. It's kind of like 2015 with Iguodala, but Kawhi Leonard, it's on another level. It's in between Iguodala and then like a Dwayne Wade in 06, like in between there with his Finals MVP. He wasn't the greatest player on the team. The team was really centered around Tim Duncan and the big three. They were old at that time. There wasn't, it was just a team-centric game. There wasn't really a star player. But Tim Duncan was the foundation of that team. Kawhi was young. I think he was around 23 years of age. He was really starting to pick things up. But that Finals MVP, credit and kudos to him. His defense was great. He averaged around, I think, 18 points that playoff series. But the Spurs blew out the Heat 4-1, and the margin was the greatest in NBA history. So more of a team-centric. But Kawhi Leonard, deservedly the Finals MVP. But yeah, a third championship, third Finals MVP, that's amazing if that were to happen.
It would put you in legendary status in the NBA. It really would. And then think about this. You spurned LeBron, you didn't go to the Lakers, and you went to LA, and you won in LeBron's house. You won in the Staples Center in LA. This was supposed to be LeBron's time in LA. Oh yeah, this would be huge if he wins a championship.
And also, if you were to win this championship, if you're LeBron James, you have the same amount of championships as Kawhi. Kawhi would have won 3 championships in 6 or 7 seasons, and that really, shows his efficiency. And Kawhi's around, I think he just turned 30 years of age, if I'm not mistaken. Kawhi's got around 3 to 4 seasons left of dominating in the league, let alone going for championships. I think Kawhi Leonard will probably get 2 more Finals appearances after this, but we'll see.
You know,
Well, when LeBron had the quote-unquote decision in 2010, electing to go to Miami, forming a super team, there's a bunch of hate on him because, number one, he left Cleveland, but not just only that, but he pretty much slapped them in the face, let alone the whole league, and pretty much said, forget you guys, I'm going to go win championships and do it in an unprecedented way, which really ticked off the whole fan base in the NBA. When Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, that was on another level. It was like on steroids. So LeBron, he won 2 championships there in 4 seasons. He should have won at least 3, is what it is. But he knew for his career and legacy, there's still a lot of hate on LeBron James. He knew for a marketing move, let alone for his legacy, he had to go back to Cleveland. Dwayne Wade's knees were done with. Chris Bosh, he was middle of the pack, all-star type player. He knew that he couldn't bring any other star players with him. They were looking at Carmelo Anthony at the time. They were looking at Shabazz Napier as a prospect in the draft, but I mean, come on. Like, what's he going to do? So looking at your different options, there wasn't really anything out there for him. So he knew with Cleveland, they had a young son in Kyrie Irving. He knew the storyline could go down. He can be a savior, and that really did perpetuate whenever he went back there. He brought in Kevin Love. He got them a championship the next following season, and it is what it is. I thought LeBron should have left the Cavaliers once they won the championship. I knew they would never win another championship with Cleveland ever again, let alone the Warriors had their dynasty before Kevin Durant. I thought LeBron should have left after 2016, went somewhere else, but he decided to sign a 2-year contract with the play, or a 3-year contract with the player option, and I don't know why he did that. Then Kevin Durant joined, and he pretty much blew 2 more years when it comes to it. It is what it is with LeBron. But listen, LeBron started the player mobility of forming super teams and leaving. LeBron, he formed the way, craved it for everyone else, but LeBron pretty much could have gone balls to the wall with this. He should have around 5 or 6 championships right now using his formula, but LeBron has used it in a wrong way. Same thing with neglecting to go back into 2017 with the Cleveland Cavaliers for a 3-year contract, then to join the Lakers when there's no other free agents out around. So LeBron's pretty much blew around 3 to 4 seasons to where we knew he wouldn't win the championship. Is what it is.
I think LA will be in for win a championship here, Colin, to be honest, because all the players, great players, who come here have been able to win a championship in Los Angeles. And if he comes up 0 for 4 years here, and it's more disappointment, and again, the Clippers are now the big basketball team in town, to me, that looks bad. The thing about Miami, you're right about all those other options, about all those pieces that went along, but let's be honest. He failed in Miami, and I know people say, well, he won 2 championships.
Yeah, no, honestly, LeBron James he underperformed, not by his standards of himself individually, but him having that experiment. It wasn't a failure, but it was pretty much the low of the low. It was disappointing. 4 seasons being there, he should have won around 3 to 4 championships being on the Miami Heat, especially in 2011. That was a downgrade. And with 2013 barely squeaking with the San Antonio Spurs, it's not a good look. You have your guys in your prime, and you barely win a championship with a bunch of 37-year-olds. I mean, it didn't really show the dominance when it came to the Heat. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, LeBron has 3 championships. He should have around 5 or 6 using his formula as of right now. But I actually do have the Lakers winning the championship this season. So, yeah.
4 years. How did he fail? He failed. Don't you remember the big party in Prescott? Not 2, not 3, not 4. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He really believed that they were going to win all these championships, and then they lose to Dallas, which they shouldn't have. LeBron played poorly, and they won 2 out of 4. They didn't do Colin anything special. Had they won a repeat or something like that, or won all 4, would be totally different. I think Miami was a disappointment.
Yes.
Again, not a disappointment, but there are some parts to it. I understand what Rob Parker's saying. Only winning 2 championships and choking to the Mavericks, let alone having the worst, loss margins when it comes to the Spurs in 2014, pretty much getting waxed. I mean, it is what it is. But with LeBron James, he really has to win the championship this season to really solidify himself as. And cats are going to get mad at this, but to solidify himself as a top 5 player all time. A lot of cats, Younger guys have him number 2 all time or the GOAT. I have LeBron James at number 5. He's very close at number 6 with Larry Bird. I expect LeBron to win at least one championship with the Lakers. I think it's in the NBA's best interest. I'm not a gematria type guy, or kind of, people are saying in the future that this stuff is with the Masonic Jews, all this is predetermined. I'm not going to go that far. I would not be surprised, and hear me out, I would not be surprised if they were to make LeBron to win a three-peat with the Lakers, to finish with a finals record of 6-6, and to pretty much have that narrative of him and Michael Jordan together. You guys can look more videos into that on YouTube. I'm not going to go that far. I think realistically, 2020, he will win the championship. Even though the Clippers and Bucks, you should feel better as a fan. I just think somehow, some way, he's going to squeak it out. I don't know if it's going to be the help with the refs. Some players know to throw games, or something with Giannis or something. I don't know. I saw this with 2016. They came back 3-1. It is what it is. But no, I got the Lakers winning the championship this season. If I were to do it off based on, eye tests and studying the game, then yeah, it should be the Clippers, of course, and the Bucks going to the finals. And I would have the Clippers winning. But I actually have the Lakers going to beat the Milwaukee Bucks in this season. And plus, again, guys, the Lakers, they're one championship behind the Celtics. And LeBron hasn't won a championship in 4 seasons. The Warriors are hurt. The Nets are hurt. Kobe Bryant just died. I mean, I don't know. You guys can say what you guys say. I think this is just lined up perfectly. Again, I'm not saying this is all predetermined. There's stuff in the background. Even though I'm just following the trend, I just think there's no way the Lakers cannot win the championship based on storyline. But let's continue here.
Today, Cam Newton is starting to kind of wear me out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop the video as of right here. So pretty much with Kevin Durant, and let alone with Kawhi Leonard. I do have Kawhi Leonard greater all time. Kevin Durant, he has his 2 championships with the Warriors. I don't really count them as a number 1 option, let alone leading a team. So I really downgrade those 2 championships when it comes to it. And Kawhi Leonard's championship with the Raptors really elevates him. If Kawhi were to win another championship, of course he would be past Kevin Durant. And pretty much he would be knocking on LeBron's door. He would be. But I'm going to leave it at that.